Hey everybody, welcome to That's Good Stuff, the show where we review pop culture's newest releases. And this time we have a couple of albums to review. First one is Distracted by Thundercat, and the second one's going to be Don Broco Nightmare Tripping. Uh, Jared, you picked these bands, so I don't know if you could tell us a
One
little
isn't a
bit.
band, one is a man.
I don't know if you could tell us a little bit about the man or band. Do you know like what number album this is?
Uh, Don Broco's is number four.
I think this is five for Thundercat.
Yeah.
Five. Okay. And then how would you describe Thundercat's music to the people?
Uh,
It's kind of like vaporwave meets
Yacht Rock.
R&B type stuff. So this album is 15 tracks long, and it's kind of a tale of two album halves because the first album half is kind of the guest stars and it's like more upbeat, and then the second part of the album is kind of like the stuff you would expect from Thundercat, and it's more downbeat. We'll get to it. So I hope you guys took lots of notes because
I'm trying to find them.
I am not too familiar with these bands, and these are not typical type of bands I would listen to. So these are going to be it's kind of hard for me to describe the music. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how this goes. So um, the first track, we always go track by track and kind of tell you our favorites. The first one is going to be Candlelight, which is like an intro. And it sounded pretty much like a Thundercat song. It has kind of uh what do you call it? Game sounding music,
Samples.
chip music kind of stuff.
Chip tone.
Yeah. It was a familiar sound. Kind of sounds vaporwave-ish to me too. It was like a it just got you like ready for a Thundercat album, I guess. Because what did you think of it, Jonah?
Yeah, it's just an intro basically. It doesn't sound bad or anything. It's just a quick little setup for the album.
Mhm. Jared?
Like what you guys were saying, it's just an intro. To me, it was a little more jazzy. From what I researched, it's from a jazz trio plus him, so it did just sound like kind of a jam session. Which like at his concerts he usually has like what do you call it, solos, which is like bass and stuff like that. So it kind of just sounded like a jam session to me.
Hmm. Okay, so track two is No More Lies, and it features Tame Impala. And this one it could have been my favorite. Well, it might have been my favorite, but
You don't even know your favorite.
it was all good till the end. I don't really like the talking, and it kind of went on forever. Normally, I don't mind talking in songs. I know some people have a trouble. Is it Alex who really hates?
No, it's me.
Oh, it's you. It's some people really hate talking in songs. I'm not one of those people, but this one bothered me for some reason, and I wish they would have not had so much of it. But yeah, it sounded like Tame Impala when they came in. And it kind of sounded like one of their songs. But yeah, that what do you think, Jared?
This is kind of the first single that came out for it. It's kind of weird because a bunch of singles came out throughout the last few years. Um, then unknowing if it was going to be on the album, but this one was like the first one. Um, I actually saw this one live when I saw Thundercat. Of course, without Tame Impala, but it was just him. So I have a little more bias to this song because I saw it.
Where's
But
Tame
I've
Impala?
I've always enjoyed it. Um,
Was it one of your favorite?
it's one of the best songs on here.
Jonah?
I think Joseph hit the nail on the head. I really like the first half. I like Tame Impala. I don't like him as much as probably most people, but I like the kind of music he makes, and it's a good combination of both artists. It sounds half like a Thundercat song, half like a Tame Impala song. But then just the talking comes in at the end, and I don't mind talking at all in music, but he just it just sounds like it kind of has the rest of the album has just kind of like this tone. It's like you're listening to just kind of like this drunk guy just complain about like his date
Hmm.
last night or something, and you just have to like sit there and listen to it.
Yeah.
And I don't really like any of the lyrics in this album, but I think a lot of the music's good, but I think his lyrics have been better in the past.
Mm. Well, talking about bad lyrics, oops, I don't know why I thought we had. Number three, no, yeah, She Knows Too Much. And this one features Mac Miller. I hated this song. This sounds like like a 13-year-old boy was singing or rapping. It sounded like boy rap, and I didn't like it at all.
Does, is it 90% of rap boy rap?
No, I don't think so, but I mean, maybe nowadays.
Nowadays,
Yeah,
yeah.
nowadays, but it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah, it did. It started off like that.
No, you had like gangster rap and stuff, but this just
Gangster
sounded like,
boys.
I meant boys versus, I guess, girls.
oh no, no, I
Oh,
meant like little boys. Like this sounds like
like
some
young people,
kid
yeah.
in his garage trying to rap. And I was not here for it. So, what do you think, Jonah? I think it's
Me,
your turn. Yeah.
I didn't mind it as much. It's definitely the most like single worthy, I think, of any of these songs. I think I like Mac Miller's like kind of feature credit. I think he died, didn't he?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
few
so
years ago, or
it's a little
5 or
sad
so.
like hearing him like his music in here, but it's nice that he had like this last song with him. Um, and I think it does kind of continue like the lyric problem of the last song, but I think he does kind of bring like a little more respectability to it. So yeah, it's fine.
That's kind of weird when this one came out because it was featuring Mac Miller and he died quite a bit ago, and I was like, what the heck? I didn't know if it was AI shenanigans or whatever,
I know.
but apparently, it was something him and Thundercat wrote back in like 2015 or something like that. It was never finished, and he finally finished it. He had the permission from like the family, I guess. Um, I always like when him and Thundercat team up. I always think they complement each other pretty well. On Mac Miller's like Tiny Desk session, Thundercats they have really good like chemistry together musically, so I liked it. Of course, it's not a lot, in a lot of Thundercat albums, they're never serious, so this one is kind of reflective of that. It's never too serious. It only like kind of dabbles in serious topics.
All right. So next one is I Did This to Myself, which on here it says featuring Little Yachty
Yes,
something.
and Flying
And
Lotus.
Flying Lotus.
Oh, okay, I have Flying Lotus on mine. I didn't get Little Yachty. I don't have much to say for this one. It's kind of a more musical one, kind of bassy, jazzy, I guess, but it's about it. I This one didn't really leave an impression on me. What do you think, Jared?
Um, Little or not little. I don't know anything about Little Yachty. I don't know his music. I never really even heard him rap, I don't think. I have heard Thundercat and Flying Lotus. He's usually featured on Flying Lotus's albums. Um, Same like Tom York, he's been on too. Um, but I always like their songs that they do together. This one was good too, but it focused more like on funk than usually it's more atmospheric and kind of like um vaporwave-ish when it's Flying Lotus. But I thought this one was good. I thought it was kind of a good single track. Um, I enjoyed it.
Jonah?
It kind of just continues like the rambling, but it, it like the first half of the song I didn't really like because of that, but then I do like Flying Lotus's part. I think he like takes that and kind of makes it his own. He um like his rapping is like pretty good compared to the lyrics at the start of the song, but yeah, the music's fine, but it's just kind of another like short song. It doesn't really stick out too much.
Okay. So number five, Funny Friends with ASAP Rocky. This was probably one of my favorites on the album. It just has that sleepy synthy sound that I liked. And yeah, what did you think? Jared this time. No, Jonah. Jonah's turn.
Uh, uh, it's okay. It's just I don't really like get into the lyrics that much. Like they're not that serious, but it's just kind of like filler-ish. I think this is by far the weakest feature of the album. I don't think A$AP Rocky like brings anything to this album, but
Dang.
yeah, it's just another okay one, like number four.
Dang. Okay, Jared.
Um, I like this track. I actually agree with Jonah on this one. I don't think A$AP Rocky's feature was that good, or they don't really blend together well. Usually, A$AP is really good with like Tyler the Creator on his songs, um, and then A$AP alone is really good. But this one, it's good. Not much. I honestly didn't have much to say about this one either.
All right, so moving on, we are on number six, and it is called "What Is Left to Say," but and has lemon twigs in it.
Hmm.
Um, this one had like a classic '70s sound, I guess,
Hmm.
R&B sound to it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funky, but kind of like in that disco era kind of stuff. So it was kind of interesting. I think it's Jonah's turn. Is it Jonah's turn or
No,
Jared's turn?
Jared's.
Jared's turn. Sorry, this one's so long. I'm getting them mixed up.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about Lemon Twigs. Apparently, they're just a British band that started around 2015 or something like that. But yeah, it gave me like old 70s kind of vibes, kind of like the Zombies kind of music. Um, I liked it a lot actually when I first heard it. Don't have a lot to say because I didn't know them, so I didn't get any context from like them featured or anything.
Jonah now.
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely a 70s vibe. I get like a lot of like yacht rock and ambrosia like from it, and I really like think the music stands out in this one over like the singing stuff.
Mhm.
Um, it's probably tied for my favorite. I think it's my second favorite of the album. Um, there's a lyric that I kind of misheard the first time around. It's feelings are like children in a car, you can't put them in the trunk. And I thought you said you can put them in the trunk, and I started laughing when I listened to it.
All
But yeah, I think this has some of the better lyrics of the album. So
right. So number seven is "I Wish I Didn't Waste Your Time." This was probably my favorite track on the album. But it does kind of like change. This is where the album kind of changes into kind of the sameness of Thundercat. Um, and it's got kind of a dreamy drum sound, and it also sounds kind of like Kirby music, like from Nintendo on it. So, what did you think? All mixed up again. Jonah.
I don't really have a lot to say about this one. It just kind of feels like an interstitial between six and eight. I did like that like little drum part, but other than that, there's just not much to it.
Jared.
This is like the third single that came out. Second or third. It was weird because when this came out, it came out with another song that I thought was gonna be the single because it had a feature by Remy Wolf. And so I thought this would be that would have been on the album, but this one was. It was just him alone, so I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But I do enjoy it a lot. I think it's because I've had the most time with it. Came out last year, I think. But yeah, it's like Joseph said, it's kind of just Thundercat-ish music, but that's never a bad thing for me.
All right, so then the album starts to go like with the little short songs. Number 8, Anakin learns his fate. The only thing I have about I didn't really like this one. The only thing I have about this is a really slow fade out. What did you think, Jared?
I don't have a lot to say about this one. I thought it was just a fun song. I guess it was. I assume it was made when he was on the Boba Fett Book of Boba Fett show, and he had some lasting thoughts about it. But yeah, just a fun song.
Jonah?
Yeah, this kind of goes along with number seven. It just kind of leads the album along to the second half. But I think this is where like his comedy starts coming in, and I like that.
Okay, and then the one next is number 9, Walking on the Moon. So this one I thought it's kind of the lyrics kind of get repetitive on this one. It's got like a ballad almost sound to it. Um, where it's kind of I don't know romantic sounding. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it had that kind of warm ballad sound to me. Whose turn is it? Jonah?
Uh, I like this one. Like you said, it's repetitive, but I think it has like this kind of like hypnotizing, kind of like calm likeness about it.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of has like this like spacey sound, and I like the lyrics until he like kind of runs out of lyrics and starts like naming movie references. So that was kind of funny, but this is one of like the better ones I think of the album.
Jared?
Uh, yeah, this one, super smooth. It's pretty slow. I like it. It's really much. It's um, kind of like on Drunk. There's like a couple songs that are kind of like you listen to while you smoke and you like get high and whatever, but this is kind of like that kind of music. Um, it's really just kind of calm and just chill.
All right, so moving on to number 10. This thing we call love. It has channel trace on it. And the only thing I have written down is it's got funky talk. So what did you have, Jared?
Yeah, I don't know who that is, the feature. I just have a funky jam. Um,
We all thought it was funky.
but yeah, it's just a funky jam.
Jonah.
I also put in my notes it's funky, but um I think this album kind of reminds me of like the Gorillaz' later ones with all like the features and everything. I think this one has kind of like that sound to it when he brings someone in.
Hmm.
Um, but I liked it.
All right, number 11, Thunder Wave, which there it says featuring Willow. Um, I didn't have a featuring on my notes. So this one was very 90s R&B sounding to me, and it has like this duet. So it sounds like something that you would hear in the like late 80s, early 90s. What do you think, Jared?
Like those, like that Boy to Men Mariah Carey single or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like one of the last singles to come out before the album that dropped. I like it. Like when I listen to it, I enjoy it, but I don't think I'd ever just put this on like, oh, I kind of want to listen to that right now. But I do enjoy it. It's kind of nice, just like Joseph said, just ballad kind of duet kind of song.
Jonah.
This is easily my favorite of the album.
Really?
Like you said, it's definitely 80s R&B. There's also kind of like this new age kind of like drum beat kind of, or like what you see in like world music around that time. But I definitely like the feel of this. Like it kind of has a psychedelic feel, and I like Willow's feature. How it has, she almost has like a gospelish kind of like singing tone to it.
Hmm.
But I think this was my favorite of the album.
All right, so we move on to Pasole, number 12. Uh,
Easily no.
I, I wrote it's got piano in it and it has a chorus in it, so
It's got piano, it's got a singer, it's got
some chorus. I guess I like the chorus, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's why I wrote that, but what do you think of this one, Jonah?
It's okay. It definitely kind of continues like the R&B-ness of the last one, but I think unlike Walking in the Moon and Thunderwave, it kind of like slows down a little bit before the
Hmm.
next song, so it's just an okay one for me.
Cat just went flying off the
I
couch.
know.
Jared.
I actually like this song quite a lot. To me, it's kind of like it's kind of like a Chicago song, but instead of being romantic or like getting with the girl, it's kind of like why didn't it work? It's kind of more like longing than um just being romantic, I guess. But I enjoy it. It's kind of slower, but I don't even know how to describe it. I just enjoy it.
I know. All right, next one is ADD through the roof. The only thing I liked on this one was the jazzy guitar part. Jared?
Yeah, this is the one song I don't really like. I think the lyrics are repetitive. I don't have ADD, so um I don't really relate to this, so I didn't really
I
like
can't
it.
relate. Jonah, can you relate?
Well, I think it's repetitive, like that's the whole
The,
joke of the
the
song.
point?
So
Yeah.
yeah. It's another, it feels like another like interstitial to me, to the last little section of the album, but I think this is the best of those kind of songs, so I like it fine.
Like it fine. Okay, number 14, Great American. This is the one where he says meow meow.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me laugh. But it's kind of interesting because it sounds kind of like a stream of conscience song where he's just kind of saying what's coming to mind,
Mhm.
which is kind of a cool like idea for a song, but it's kind of interesting. Jonah?
Yeah, I think this is like the most outright funniest of his. Like there's a lyric on "Tell me I'm talking to my cats" I liked. And then he just starts meowing. But yeah, I like thought this was pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah. He usually has a song about cats in his albums. I can't remember the name of the. There's one on each album. The one I'm trying to thinking of on like drunk. I can't remember right now. I should have wrote it down. But yeah, he usually has a song about cats or mentions cats in some of his songs. Um, I enjoy this one. It's just like Jonah said, it's kind of just a fun song about and there's cats mentioned.
He should have had one called Cat Pasoli. Um, Number 15 is the last song. You left me, or you left without saying goodbye. I thought it was a slow ending song, and I thought that I kind of would have preferred if number four, Great American was the last song on the album than this one. I thought it kind of would be a better outro, but yeah, this was just kind of a, I don't know, an old sounding song. Jared.
Yeah, there's not much to say. It's kind of just the outro to the album.
Hmm.
It just kind of fades out. So not bad. Just kind of fast, kind of slow, kind of just leaves you.
Jonah.
I like it. It has kind of like this. The music has kind of like just like an old like 80s like TV kind of feel, like the synth. And I think it does a good job of like ending the album like on a not too serious note or anything. It's just a good little like sign off.
All right, so Distracted as a whole. Well, let's first say best three songs. On mine, I had No More Lies, Funny Friends, and I Wish I Didn't Waste Your Time for my top three. Jonah, what you say your top three is?
Thunderwave, What Is Left to Say, and No More Lies.
Okay. Jared, do you have a top three?
No More Lies. probably Pisole and what was that one? What is left to say?
Okay. And so, as a whole, for me, this was the first Thundercat album I really listened to. It's not really a kind of style album I would listen to a lot. I'd probably just listen to singles if I did. It's kind of like EDM music. I really like EDM music, but I don't want to listen to a whole album of it. I'm just kind of like an EMP guy or a EP guy when it comes
An
to.
EMP guy, I'd like to turn off the electricity.
But no, I would listen to EPs, but I don't think I'd like listen to whole albums of. So that's kind of the feeling I had with this. What are your thoughts on this album, Jared?
Uh, I've been listening to Thundercat for a long time now, ever since he did that song with Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald. I think Drunk is like the gold standard for me for his albums. But I think this one comes pretty close to it, honestly. Um, as a whole, I like it a lot. I think a lot of the song, I think it's a good mixture of fun and kind of chill, which his music is a lot of the times. So I think it's a great addition to his catalog. And then there's not as much like bass solos as his other albums, because sometimes there just be like musical bits where he just goes off for a while. And when I actually saw him live, the person I was with is like, he's just playing bass. He hasn't stopped for like minutes. And I was like, yeah, it's a jam. But he is like, in my opinion, like the best bassist right now. I just love his music, and he seems like a cool guy too. Like when I was at the concert, he was just like, what manga are you reading right now?" And the crowd was like, "One Piece," and I was like, "Ah, come on, guys." But yeah, I enjoy his music. I really like this one, and I can't wait for more.
Jonah?
Yeah, I think like Jared said, like Drunk is probably his best album. I think this one is a good album, but it's kind of missing like some of the better lyrics from some of his past music. I think the music itself is pretty perfect. He is a good musician and everything, but I think this album isn't as focused as I want it to be. I think it could be a little shorter and some of the songs could actually be a little longer, I think, but overall I think it's pretty good.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our next album, which is Don Broco Nightmare Tripping. So I don't know what the heck this stuff is on the top there of the track list. It's like the only track list I could find, so maybe ignore that stuff. I don't know. It might be dangerous. I don't know. So I'm gonna start off by saying that I've never heard this band. So when I put it on, the first song is Cellophane. I did not know what to expect, and when I put the first song on, I was like, I still don't know what's going on because it starts kind of like hardcore, but then it's got like this soft kind of modern chorus going on, and it just had like a mix of everything in there, and I was like, I don't know what to expect from this album after this first song. Um, but yeah, can you tell us anything about it, Jared?
So to give a little backstory on them, they started off kind of just like Brit rock. It was very more popish. Um, and even like them, like physically, they were more like clean cut, more like I want to say kind of like boy bandish looking, because trying to be like more appealing to like a female audience and stuff like that. So it's been a weird kind of transition from that to like nowadays, because around technology, they started getting into like harder rock. They would have like breakdowns and stuff like that. And then like on this album, they fully just screaming and stuff like that. So, but I've always liked that they have two main singers, the drummer and like the main singer dude. I
Hmm.
like their dynamic. I love when the songs are like a good mix of both of them. And then kind of like in the like hardcore scene, you either have like super serious bands or you have like bands that have like their music vo videos are like jokish. There's like little skits and stuff like that. They fall into that where it's like more they don't take themselves too seriously, which I like with hardcore music. So it's been cool seeing these guys just like develop and just carve out their own like little part of music for themselves. And then with this album, it was like I was just like as caught off guard as Joseph was because it's just they did what they wanted on this one.
Okay,
Um,
so what do you think of that first song?
this was the first single to come out, and I was like, oh my gosh, they've embraced the Limp Bizkit side of
Yeah, it
music.
did.
Um, and then like the breakdown was super heavy. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm loving this.
Mm,
Um, but like Joseph said, there's still a mix of the other singer and stuff like that. But I was like, man, I can't wait for this album. If there's a whole album like this, I'm in.
Jonah?
Yeah, I'd heard their technology album before, and I really like that one. They just kind of have like a very unique feel to themselves amongst like other rock bands nowadays. And so for Cellophane, like Jared, um, I think this is a good like example of what a well-balanced like modern rock song looks like. Because it has like a little screamo at the beginning, but it doesn't rely on it as a crutch like a lot of bands do, and it has that softer chorus, which I really like, and it's just like a great picture of just what is good about like modern rock bands because there's not as many of them, I don't think, and I think this is one of the better ones.
All
And I think
right. Oh,
also this is some of the better lyrics on the album is this song. So there's that.
all right. So we're getting into number two, Disappear. It has kind of a soft intro into it, and then it gets kind of into that modern sound that kind of like I guess modern rock does, or pop. I don't know. It was still very hard for me to figure out what this album is going for at this point. But what did you think of Disappear, Jonah?
This one, it's like almost there as like a good song, but not quite for me. It kind of loses itself a little bit. There's like this weird sound like one of the singers does like towards the end, it's like do 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 or something like
Oh
that.
yeah,
I didn't like that, but it's like it's almost has it right, but not quite.
Jared.
I enjoy this song quite a bit. This was the third single to come out for this album. Uh, so there was three that came out around the same time. This the second one we'll get to. After that song, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to think because I'll talk about it later. And then this one came out, I was like, huh. And I still don't really know what to think about this song. I do like it a lot. I like the mix of hard and soft. I don't really mind the bits Jonah disliked. I'm not gonna lie, this album has been kind of my go-to like workout album. Whenever I go to the gym, this is what I put on. I think it has the right mix of energies for me when I like work out and stuff. So I like this song. Not much to say about it, but I like it.
Yeah, this was almost my top three, and then a later song kind of overtook it. Okay, number three, Somersaults. This is kind of like the reverse of the last one, where this one has like a darker intro and then it gets softer
Hmm.
with the lighter chorus. The lyrics really kind of threw me because it's like talking about summer, like as a childhood and stuff, and I was like, okay. And it kind of felt like it dragged a little. But what did you think of this one, Jared?
Um, this is like everything Joseph said is true. But this is like the most like this is the hardest song to talk about. I like it. I don't know what it's trying to say. I haven't really like dived into the lyrics or anything like that. I usually do that last for music. But I like it. I like um kind of the darker feel that it has in this song. Because up to this point, we've just had like heavy and some like lighter bits, but we haven't had like dark or light kind of. And I feel like this one has a pretty dark side to it that I like. Um, but yeah, I'm having a hard time talking about it, but I do like it. I think sonically, I like it a lot.
Jonah.
Yeah, this one's interesting because like it starts out like the lyrics are very silly because it like juxtaposes like summer of like the season with somersaults and then
Hmm.
just stuff like that, and it has like a like you said a darker sound, but the lyrics are just kind of having fun with it. I think it kind of starts out a bit rough, but then I like it better as it goes on.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess this track listing's all messed up. I don't.
Yeah.
It's something from Reddit. I don't know what's going on with it. So the next one is Nightmare Tripping, the title track, and I was all, what the heck? Nickelback comes in.
Dude,
Nickelback has entered the fight.
Hmm.
dude, when this single came out, I ran to Chris. I was like, Nickelback, and he's like, no. And then Michael, like, he texted later. He's like, "There's Nickelback on this."
So surprisingly, I actually really like this song. I think Nickelback actually goes really well with their music. Um, I think like the vocals from Nickelback's better than anything else we get on the album. Um, it's got a
Well, they're
little,
veterans, Joseph.
yeah, that's true.
Veterans.
They're pros at this. I guess it's got a screaming start. It's got a little bit of an R&B chorus going to it. And I just have silly lyrics because I think they sing some silly lyrics in this one. Jonah, what did you think when Nickelback came on the show?
Yeah, they know how to use a Nickelback. Just yeah, that's a band that's definitely like at their best when they're like featured and not
Yeah,
their normal stuff.
like
And they
Spider-Man.
use yeah, and like that Santana song, but
Hmm.
um yeah, he sings the chorus really well, and I actually like the lyrics. And if you watch the video, it is supposed to be taken less seriously.
Hmm.
But this is a like a great like throwback to like 2000s kind of rock.
Yeah,
Um, and I love that guitar part at the end that kind of like closes out the song. So I really like this one.
Jared.
Uh, Nickelback once said that a hero will save us, and they were talking about themselves. I had a whole monologue that I sent the guys. So I didn't write notes. I just went back to the monologue. I think it's like a culmination of rock in general. It starts off with kind of like that tapping on the guitar, and you're like, oh shoot, that's kind of cool. And then it just keeps going, and then it builds up to like this kind of like it gets to the verse, and there's like this kind of like beat to it, this kind of like rhythmic beat, and you're like, oh, that's it's kind of funky, and you're like not expecting that at all. Um, but can't remember. I always have a hard time reading and giving thoughts. Like when we're doing the podcast, Jonah, I'm just like, ugh. Um, oh, okay. So after like the tapping, it goes into like a palm muted kind of like, your classic heavy rock kind of like, oh, it's kind of building, it's getting a little heavier, and then it goes into like a harmonic squeal, and you're just like, man, they've got me. And then you hear Nickelback, and you're like, oh, what's going on? Um, this is like the most so. Up until this point in Don Broco's like career, um, the main dude, I forget his name. I forgot his name. Dang it. But he's screamed, but he hasn't screamed much. And in this song, he's just screaming like nonstop, and you're like, oh my gosh, I was never expecting this from this guy. But I think Jonah put it really well. Like the mix of like Chad's voice and the main singer's voice is really good. And then you have the drummer singing too, like in the chorus and stuff, and he kind of like tapers off the chorus bits from Chad, and it's just like a great mix. And then the song goes and goes, and then it gets to like the breakdown, and you're like, oh, sweet, a great breakdown. And then it goes into a solo, a guitar solo. You're like, what? They're just putting everything in here. What are you guys doing? And it's like one of those old 80s like inspirational moment kind of guitar solos, and you're like, oh my God. And then it just ends beautifully. And so like it's like the best culmination of rock that just distilled in
Hmm.
this song. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? Why did they just came out of nowhere with this? And I was like, dang, dude, this is awesome. And so like even the like me and the internet were like obsessed with this when this came out. And I really like this song. This is like when I don't know what to listen to, I just go to this.
The singer is Rob
Broad.
Damiani, I think.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see short hair Nickelback
Yeah.
Hmm.
knowing long hair
I
Nickelback.
remember the first time he shaved his or like cut his hair, I was like, what the?
Who is this guy? All right, so number five, Ghost in the Night was another standout for me. Starts with a little short acoustic opening, just real short, not enough to make Jonah mad. Um,
Hmm.
The right amount for Jonah.
it's kind of a softer song, um, kind of more downbeat. What do you think? Oh, Jared talks so much for the last one. No. What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, this is like the one slowish song for the album.
Yeah.
Um, it's really good. It's like a romantic sounding song, I would say. It's kind of just like that, wanting that person to be more feeling in a relationship, but not much to say about it. I like the more peaceful side of it for this album. So I thought it was a good track.
Jonah.
Yeah, I love this one. It kind of
Love it.
continues like the early 2000s like influence. I think this one has more like kind of a Deftones kind of sounding song. It has like this echoey like dream like kind of vibe to it. And yeah, I thought it was went very well following the last song to kind of have like this slower kind of fa sound. And I think that's like the best point of this album is those two songs.
Yeah. Okay, so next one is True Believers. The only thing I have for this is something about a boyfriend and then lots of screaming. What did you think of this one, Jonah?
That's
Yeah.
the only notes.
Yeah, I put boyfriend screaming. Because it's weird. He's like talking about a boyfriend,
And then you start
and
screaming.
then he starts screaming about true believers. Yeah, it's like okay. It's weird because it talks about boyfriend, and then it's all about like down with the establishment kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, what?
Maybe the boyfriend was the establishment.
I
Yeah.
guess down with the patriarchy.
It starts with this guitar riff I like. It kind of like reminds me of like older like Radiohead guitar riffs. But then just after the album won me over, it kind of loses me a little here because rap rock and like new metal kind of rears its ugly head.
Hmm.
And it just
Jerry.
Jonah, that's the spice of life.
no, that's what killed rock.
Eh,
But yeah, they just like I said, there's just bands that use screamo as a crutch when they like don't have as good lyrics or not as good singing, and this is
That's
what this
offensive.
does. It's true though.
That's
There's
offensive.
uses for it sometimes, but some bands just overdo it, and this song definitely does, so you don't really get like what the feel of like the song is. And like Joseph said, the lyrics are kind of confused what it's even supposed to be about. But yeah, it's a good song to annoy the neighbors, but not much else.
What are you, 80?
When it comes to
Uh,
that new metal, yeah.
this was the last single before the album came out.
Hmm.
Um, this song, I like this song. There is a little too much singing. Like I said, I like when there's a mix of the singing, like the drummer singing and the main dude singing. or screaming.
Well, there's a feature
Um,
on this one.
yeah, I know. I'm
Is
getting to
there?
that, Jonah. Let me
Yeah.
build. Let me build like the song. So Sam Carter's featured on this. He's from Architects. I don't like Architects. It's not that I have anything against them. I just think I don't think his voice carries a
Like
whole
George
a whole
Costanza?
album. I think when it's just him singing, it gets a little old. It's very samey, kind of screaming and stuff like that. But whenever he's featured in a song, it's really good. Like this song, and then there's a song he does with Spirit Box that's really good. And for some reason, when he's on his own, it's just like, ugh. But when he's peppered in there, it's like a little pinch of pepper on a steak. You're like, ooh. Um, but yeah, he works on this song for me. I like it a lot. There's a part where there's like dual screaming where he goes and then Rob goes. I love when people do that. I love when the bands do that. So I like this song.
All right. So moving on, we get to Euphoria, which is obviously named after that teenage drama on HBO. Which is fitting because it has that stupid choir chorus, the modern choir chorus that I hate in songs nowadays. And yeah, I wasn't too up on this one. Jared,
Um, this is the fourth single that came out. I like this song. What Joseph said isn't wrong, but I don't think it's as negative as he puts it. I think it's a good version of that choir singing, but I enjoy it. I like this song.
Jonah.
I like that choir chorus thing. I don't think it fits here at all.
I actually hate that choir chorus singing back in like the 2015s or whatever.
I
Mm,
like that, but it does kind of just have like this punkish, like kind of like riot ensuing like kind of tone, but then the lyrics don't match that. It's just about like feeling good or something like that. So it's just a very confused song. I don't know what it's trying to like what emotion it's trying to go for or whatever, but it's just like kind of confusing.
all right. So next up, we got Pacify Me. So this song starts with kind of a Cornish open, like corn. It
Yeah.
sounds like corn. And then it has almost like this kind of ballad chorus going on in it. And it's got this like false stop at the end where it just kind of gets
Hmm.
over and then it starts up again. Jonah, what do you think of it?
Yeah, like I was saying, I like this band when compared to a lot of like modern rock music, and like the earlier songs in the album kind of prove that they can really like elevate like modern rock, but this one I think is trying to be a little too much like other bands, like reminding me a lot of like Bad Omens and stuff like that.
What's wrong
Um,
with that?
there's no, I like
Oh.
Bad Omens. I just don't like the impersonation of it.
Mm.
He doesn't like
Um,
bad omens.
yeah, worse omens. Um, so yeah, it doesn't really try anything new. It's not bad. But then there's this part where kind of the growler like kind of voice like turns into a train or something. It goes like
Oh, I
and
like that.
that just kind of like lost me a little. It kind of got a little silly again, but it's all right.
Jared?
This has the classic ish, not issue, but like this is where one of those songs where I like the verses more than choruses, kind of like that moving sidewalk song you hate, Jonah. I love the verse song, but I hate the chorus. So it's hard to like rate the song because the verse parts are so good, like the verse, the bridge, and all that is so good, but the chorus is just so like, I guess we'd have to put a chorus right here. It's not like they thought of something clever for the chorus, I guess, but I like the song. I just wish the chorus was a little more interesting. They had a little more dynamics in there.
All right. So the next song, Swimming Pool. So this is another one where like Jared Jonah's talking like where they're kind of ripping off other bands or trying to mimic them. So this one kind of has like a Nine Inch Nails guitar part in it, and then it sounds almost like 21 Pilot vocal effects going on, where they do that like high. They make their voices not high, they make their voices like slower, like slow down their voice. It kind of has that in there. Um, do you agree, Jared?
I don't know. I'd have to hear it again. I don't know off the top of my head.
But what do you think of that song?
Oh, I don't have a lot to say about this song. I like the little drummer boy shout out Christmas song because he's like, I bang my drum, parumpa pum pum. I was like, oh, there you go. Um, yeah, it's a good song. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's not one of my favorites on here. I think it's kind of a weaker one. But I do enjoy it. I'm not like you guys that just hate.
Jonah, did you hate?
Yeah, didn't really enjoy this one. It's like Joseph said, it's just trying to be like too many other bands and doesn't really have like too much of an identity of its own. And it's just, it's not, I don't think it's the worst song in the album. We'll get to that next, but it's the most forgettable for me.
Right, most forgettable. Okay, so next we go to Hype Man. And this one almost did it for me. I have it. It has a good chorus. That's what I liked about it, but I didn't like the rest of it. So it's almost a good song. You almost got there. But what do you think, Jonah?
Yeah, I think this is the weakest on the album. It's another like new metal kind of sounding song, and it just goes in a lot of like different directions randomly, and it just, none of them fit. I don't remember like what specifically, but it's like the bridge
Yeah,
and then the ending, they kind of have like their own kind of like feel, but they don't match the rest of the song. So
yeah.
I think this is definitely like the stumble of the album.
Stumbling, Jared.
This was the second single that came out. This is the one I was talking about earlier, where I was like, "What the heck? What did I just listen to?" This one has that kind of like classic hip hop kind of like breakdown bit where he's like, "Mic check 1 2" kind of part, and I was like, "What?" Um, but it's obviously one of their more jokey songs because, like I said earlier, they're kind of lighthearted most of the time, and this one was obviously that kind of song. I think this one is just purely for like the fun of it. It's not trying to be serious. It's just kind of doing its own thing. I do like one of the lyrics. I do like the lyric in the chorus where he says, "Because I've been enraptured in love with the sadness that I can't shut out." I really like that lyric. I think that was one of the standouts for this album. Like I said, it's like the more si like silly song, but then you have a lyric like that, and you're just like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So I enjoy this song. It's definitely the song on here that you're like either you like it or you don't. I don't blame anyone for not liking it, but I enjoy it.
Right. And then the last song, number 11, The Corner. This one surprised me because I was like done with the album, but then this one came on and it was like, this has like the best vocals on the album, like from these guys, like not counting Nickelback. Um,
Man, Joseph's really
Dang.
gonna go back to Nickelback.
but yeah, they had like a pop guitar sound to it in the beginning. So I was like, wow, where did this come from? And it's the last song on the album. So it was one of my top three. So Jerry, what did you think of the outro?
Yeah, this song was interesting. I came out of nowhere for me. It's definitely more like kind of more of like a more beautiful sounding song. It's more like it
Hmm.
like lyrically, I think it's one of the best. It's very much like that old like early 2000s kind of like balladish kind of song, more like impactful or trying to be more like emotional. Um, it's definitely like out of nowhere for this album, definitely, because from
Yeah.
here we've just had like kind of hit you in the face or just kind of a joke kind of song. But I did like this one a lot. It's kind of like the, the palate cleanser you needed to go on to more other music.
Jonah.
Yeah, I really love this one too. It kind of brings back the Ghost in the Night kind of feel to it, but like Joseph says, it has kind of like this softer opening, which sounds, it remind me of like The Cure kind of.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And like I was saying with like the screamo thing, it's like this is what happens when like you focus on like the lyrics and actually like embrace like the lyrics and the guy singing is you
That's so
like bring out
offensive.
so much more and it is like it's beautiful, but it's also like a serious rock song. So I thought it was a great way to close out the album.
Yeah, it's so different than the rest of the album.
Hmm.
Okay, so final. Well, top three. I had Nightmare Tripping, Ghost in the Night in the corner. Jonah, what do you have?
I have Nightmare Tripping, Cellophane, and Ghost in the Night.
Okay, Jared.
Cellophane, Nightmare Tripping, of course. He can't. It's got Nickelback. And then probably after that, I would say Ghost in the Night.
Ghost in the Night. Okay, so final thoughts on Nightmare Tripping by Don Broco. Like I said, I didn't know what this. Never listened to this band before. Probably won't listen to it again. It gave me when I was listening to it, I was getting like Mardell vibes. I was like, this reminds me of like listening to sample music at Mardell's for some reason. Because it just had that like old school sound to it, like when like when those old bands were out. Um, it just yeah, it was different. It was different kind of album than I listened to. A very different kind of sound. Um, Jared, what were your final thoughts?
This will probably be a hard album to beat this year. For me, there's no skips for me, so it's a perfect album.
No
Um,
skips.
I was anticipating it and it delivered. I I like this album a lot.
Jonah, final thoughts.
Yeah, I really liked it overall. I think there's definitely a lot of like stumbling points, like I've said, with some of the songs, but
Mhm.
in the case of like modern rock and like hard rock bands of like the modern era, unlike with those ones where I usually kind of like pick out like my favorite songs and then like don't revisit it, I can definitely see coming back to this album like as a whole, like a lot more than some like modern rock bands. And I think it definitely like grew on me. Like the first listen, I wasn't quite sold on it, but then like keep listening to it more and more, it kind of builds itself. So I think it did was a surprisingly good album.
Hey, would you like to anger new metal even further, Jared Jonah?
Yeah, always.
Okay, we'll save it for next time. But tell us what you guys thought of these two albums if you're listening to them, and let us know any other bands that you like so we can get kind of some suggestions for future reviews. We like to do music reviews. It's just hard because we have very different music tastes and stuff. Um, and yeah, but we do hope to do some few more in the future. Um, if you want to help out the channel, throw us some likes and subscribe and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye.